Hello, Tribesters and Extended Tribe. It's another episode of Conscious Experts, and back by popular demand is none other than Jennie Francis. So if you haven't had the opportunity to watch or tap into our other episode, I definitely recommend going back. There's the interview and also a live stream session, both of which have been very, very popular with everyone within our tribe, as well as external guests coming on. So Jennie is a qualified hypnotherapist, and she was the in-house therapist for Channel 4. She's been on a number of TV programs. She has created weight loss programs. She has celebrity clients, but none of that really matters. What matters is that she is a huge expert and has so much wisdom, and she has given us this gift of time to spend with us once again. And today we're going to be talking about flexible mindset, something that I teach in my yoga practice and something that Jennie and I both were having a conversation about off camera a little bit of time ago. And we thought it would be really a very valuable topic given what's happening in the world and where people are at right now. So Jennie, thank you very much for joining again.
Nice to see you again.
So Jennie, I think it would be good to start with just talking about you a bit. So you had a successful Harley Street practice for many, many years. It was sort of running almost like clockwork, I would say. And then the pandemic hit. So I'd love to know how that impacted you directly.
Okay. What happened, and it was probably about 3 weeks before lockdown in the UK, I got lost in London and I was walking around. As I was walking around, I realised I had to make a plan in my head if it all kicked off, just in case. But that time, nobody believed that it would. And in my head, I realised that one of the first things that I would do is to put in my notice on my office in Harley Street, because, you know, you have to work a lot to pay Harley Street rents. And another was my living arrangements. But by the time I'd come to find myself again, in my head, I had a plan, a loose plan, a vague plan. But I think that helped me enormously because I stuck to it. I was able to, as soon as, and literally all my clients cancelled, I was a full week booked, lockdown was put in place. I had one client, I did that client, and then I put my notice in Harley Street. And then I hadn't actually gone past that to think, oh, well, how am I going to earn my living? What am I going to do now? How am I going to make this work? As soon as we realised that we weren't able to go anywhere or do anything, I have been lucky enough to have the opportunity to I already had Zoom because I had clients abroad. And although I didn't do it very often, because it was those ones where you did it because you couldn't see them in person, but I started to perfect it. And actually now, in a way, some parts of it I prefer, because weirdly enough, hypnotherapy is a lot about connecting with your clients, but you would have thought, well, you'd have to do that face to face. But because people's faces are so close to the camera, you get a much more intimate detail about what's happening, because people basically show what they feel, what they think. Everything is there in their face. And I've been very conscious of body movement and everything like that. And because it's very good to see when you're doing hypnotherapy and doing the trance part, how people breathe, because that is a very good indication as to what level of trance they're in. So fortunately, you know, you're able to see the shoulders and that top part of people. So I think I was very lucky that I have a job that I can do that with and make it go online. And then, of course, I had to promote it because everyone's going, well, we don't like the idea of doing it online. So then it was making it be more acceptable. And I did quite a few, I think it was probably about 2 weeks into lockdown, I went onto Facebook and I just did free sessions. I think it was 5 o'clock every night. I did free sessions of hypnosis for people in lockdown. And it really started to help people realise that actually it didn't matter if they're sitting at their kitchen table or lying on the sofa or in their bed, wherever they were, that actually they were still getting that ability to be able to release, to relax, to let go, and, you know, go into that lovely place of trance. So that really helped. I mean, obviously it didn't earn me any money, so I still had that that thought to come along of how I was going to do that. And I set up a weight loss program fairly rapidly. I think it was in the May, so I think we went to lockdown in the April, and then in the May I did a weight loss program, and it was every day, I think, for about 8 days. And I just sent out emails to my clients, and that really helped me, because it meant I realized that actually I could earn a living doing that if I needed to. People found me as well. People who had never even heard of me found me specifically because they wanted to do online sessions. So I think it almost attracted a different type of client that I probably hadn't had before. Lots more men, loads more men. Yeah.
That's really interesting. And it actually, well, what I wanted to tap into was, it sounds like you were very intuitive about what was going to happen. And in terms of the pandemic hit, you almost felt that, you needed to make a change with your office space, and you had that intuition. And I guess I would just love to know a little bit more on, like, was that a natural thing for you, or is that something that you've developed over time because of the business that you're in, the work that you do?
I have definitely developed trusting my gut, trusting my instincts. They've not always, before I was a hypnotherapist, they've not always guided me where I come out the other side of it, going, perhaps I shouldn't have done that. But my instincts have been so strong that I've not been able to go against it. It would feel so uncomfortable for me not to do that, even though sometimes, as I say, I think, oh God, why didn't I do that? I really should have done. But so I trust it. I believe in it, that when we connect to ourselves in that way, and I do think feeling stressed, feeling anxious, really do stop people from being able to do that. And I'm sure you doing your yoga is very much an intuitive thing, very much body connection, mind connection, that you start to be able to trust yourself more. And yeah. I think this, what we're coming on to, the topic we're coming on to about the flexibility, to develop that belief in yourself, that you trust yourself. You're not always going to get it right, but you will be comfortable with the decision because it came from that part of you that actually was telling you that you had to do this. And it is something that you have to attune to and get used to. And I do think hypnotherapy actually helps people to do that. That allows them to connect to that part of themselves, to be able to feel more secure in the choices that they make. And once I'd made that decision, then I just went with it. And I haven't gone back to Harley Street. I've decided, I live by the sea. I have a very lovely life here, and no more schlepping up to London on the trains that now aren't really working very well. And it's a very good move.
Yeah, and you just keep moving forward. You talked about my yoga practice, and actually, when I first started practicing yoga, I remember feeling very uncomfortable because I was not intuitive at all. I was very used to being told what to do. When I was raised in a way of, you listen to your elders, you listen to your teachers, you follow what they say. And it took me years actually with my yoga practice to be more in touch with my own physical body and what it needed, and then learning from, okay, this is what I'm feeling on the mat. How does that actually apply to life? But now it's something that I feel very strongly about. And one of the main teachings that I want people to get out of the yoga practice, that it's like, this is not just physical movement. This is so much more. And if we can tap into how we're feeling intuitively, and that's why sometimes shutting the eyes is good. And like with hypnotherapy, you shut your eyes, you go inside. That shutting the eyes actually can help you tune out all that other stuff that's going on out there, so you can start to listen inside a bit.
Yeah, definitely. Sorry, no, you carry on.
No, I was just going to say, let's talk about flexible mindset, because you've obviously had to become very flexible with your business practice, same as me. Like, I was sort of forced into a certain transition. I know that my practice is definitely, my meditation practice, my yoga practice has helped me start to just move forward, just like seeing each moment as another step rather than this is it. You just keep moving it forward. I'd love to hear your thoughts on flexible mindset.
I think with a flexible mindset, because when you actually, one of the things I learned in hypnotherapy, and hypnotherapists and hypnotherapist teachers talk about it a lot, is the most powerful person in the room is the most flexible person in the room, because they will rapidly make shifts to how they perceive something or what their ideas are or what they're going to do with the information they have, with the situation they're in that moment. And for instance, Tony Robbins, you watch him do some of his live stuff, and people bring their stuff to him, and he really rapidly will change the angle he's coming from, whatever they're giving him, because people perhaps haven't talked about that so deeply before, and so they start to say things that unexpected things or things that you couldn't even prepare for. But he swiftly allows himself to go to that place where I've only ever seen him once where he got a little bit stuck. And I went, oh, even Tony Robbins gets a bit stuck occasionally, but it's actually something good to see. Those people that we put up on pedestals, every once in a while, you're like, actually, they're human. Yes. They can still falter. Yeah, exactly. Oh, it does make you feel like that, actually. So I think that ability to do that. So when we become rigid, and this is where I think a lot of the stress and anxiety stems from as well, because it's not going as you've planned it, or situations you're in, you haven't actually got the ability, because you haven't gone through that process of thinking what the alternatives might be. And when you get trapped in it, I mean, it was recently I had a client, and she came to me and she was almost burnt out. She was wiped out, and she said, well, I'm working till 11 o'clock at night. She was working online at home. And I said, but why are you working 11 o'clock at night? Well, all the three of them are giving me work to do. I said, but why aren't you telling them that it's too much, that actually, so-and-so is giving me work to do and you've given me work to do. So say, I can't do it today, but I can do it next week, what have you. She said, oh, but they won't like it. I said, they'd like it far more than if you actually get so ill that you can't work at all. And I said, they will be happy that you've spoken up and explained the situation, because they might not even know that they're all giving you work. They're in their own entities and doing what they're doing. And as soon as that happened, she said, oh, they were really pleased that I told them. Now I finish work at 7. And it was something that I think, and it does come into the flexibility thing, being able to speak up, being able to say, especially for work, when you're in that situation and you're just going, yes, 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 and taking it on, rather than saying, actually, oh, this is too much for me. Because people want you to be at work. They want you to be able to do the work. But if you don't tell people, they won't know.
Yeah.
And that's one of the top things. And you look at all the things they say about how to deal with situations like this. Talk to someone, tell someone.
Yeah, it's just so easy to just have that conversation. But I think there are, and a lot of people in our audience and a lot of our members that are in a place where they've taken so much on and they're trying to juggle so many different things, because it's the quote unquote the expectation, or that's the idea of that's what I'm supposed to do as a working mother. I need to do this, and I need to then manage this, and I have to show up to work, and I have to put the face on and be able to manage everything. But actually, and that's where I got to, was I was saying yes to so many things and didn't allow myself the boundaries, and I hit burnout, and it impacted everything. It wasn't just, I had to transition out of that career, but, it was impacting my relationship with at home, as well as how I was raising my children. And so if you don't actually take care of yourself or speak up and communicate, then no one else really does know. You think they know, but they don't.
They don't know. No. And I think that is really important, because it is one of those things that, you think, oh, you know, I'll get fired, oh, they won't like it, but actually people appreciate you doing that, because then they've got an insight into how they can help you. The next one, actually, funnily enough, is about taking breaks, taking holidays, and this really allows you then to, and I think it shows that it's about women. I was looking at about women, and, you know, being able to work to their full potential. And part of it is taking regular breaks, and I always, when I had Harley Street, I always did this. I mean, they used to, you know, call me the holiday queen, but I would take, you know, 7 little holidays, not long, just a few days. And I think I have to be careful with this now it's online, because I know that I can work anywhere in the world. So I'll be taking my work with me, and, you know, I'm going on holiday next week, and I've already got 3 clients booked in because, oh, please, yes. And I go, yes, of course I can. I think, so I don't mind, I'm quite happy about it, actually. It works out very well. But managing that level where it's an amount that you are on holiday, you know, you're not working flat out every day. You're, you know, seeing 3 clients on a week's holiday. So that's fine. I do think that is one of those things that people are going to have to be very aware of, especially people who work really hard, and that desire to answer every email, look at it immediately, all of that kind of thing, to, you know, put in those boundaries. I suppose that's another thing. And there is, funnily enough, with flexibility comes in some strict boundaries, which sounds a, you know, dichotomy, but that way it allows you then to have that freedom to be able to take care of yourself. Because the main thing, I think, as well as physical stuff, you know, being fit and healthy, is to mentally have times where you can switch off, where you can relax. In fact, today I'm going to do a lovely little session, which is quite short, but it allows you to access something that might be blocking you, stopping you, damaging you, harming you, frustrating you, annoying you, whatever it might be. But you're choosing one particular thing, just one small thing, and dealing with that at that particular time. We want to make it so it's easy to do. So, and it's short, you know, you don't have to sit there for half an hour. It's short, but it allows that to change how you perceive something. And as soon as you do that, it gives you a freedom. Then as soon as you either make something distant, smaller, remove it, release it, let it go, even forgetting about it. Actually, there's stuff that I do with that, as you know, that it gives you a bit of space then to find ways to make you, well, to access the way of being able to really take care of yourself and look after yourself. And I would say to have that lovely and a flexible mindset is a happy mindset, is that one that I think that it gives you an ability to start to take care of yourself. And there is that thing that comes with, you know, doing meditation, doing self, you know, journaling, or doing, and definitely doing some physical exercise. I mean, yoga is brilliant because it does all the stuff. So all of those things of self-care, because you will not be the person you want to be if your internal dialogue immediately makes you go to that place was, oh, I can't do that, it's too, oh, I'm overwhelmed, oh, I've got too much to go, oh, I'm so frustrated with it, or I'm so annoyed with it. If you're getting that reaction, it means that you are not taking care of yourself, you're not looking after your well-being, your mental well-being. And you only have to make small changes, gradual changes, to start to get that place where you going, rather than reacting like that, going, yeah, well, I can probably sort that out. Yeah, I can deal with that. Oh, I can sort that out later. It allows you to have that little bit of space, a moment where your mind can think something different. And by having that whole thing of being able to respond and react to situations rapidly in a different way, you feel more powerful, you feel better in yourself, you feel healthier, you feel well, because you know there are certain things now, and I think even doctors are agreeing with this now, that stress causes physical illness. Yeah. It's one, and of actually
it is one of the, it's like the main reason that people are hospitalized these days, comes down to stress and then the long-term impact on the physical body, and it creates illness, whether it's tension, but then that's like the least. It can then exacerbate to, cancer or something else.
Yeah.
I just want to dive into just boundaries before we go into the session, which I'm excited for. Because boundaries is one of the things that we teach within Tribe. And I'd love to, do you have specific tactics in terms of setting your boundaries? I'm even thinking if, do you, when you take your little breaks, do you plan that out a year in advance, looking at your calendar? Do you plan out your weeks? Do you plan out your months? Or is there other ways that people might be able to help, get some guidance on creating boundaries?
Yeah, I for some years I had a mentor, and she was very, very strict and very keen on scheduling, because she said that means you're proactive, you get a lot done, you get your work done, you get your workspace. And I said, okay, I said, yeah, I'll do that, because I'm a bit loose and a bit relaxed with that. But I have a very lovely lifestyle that I'm able to, mind pick and choose when I do my clients and everything. I mean, I already have that flexibility in there. So I'm, and I can have space where I go, I think I have a bit of time off now. I'm privileged in that way. And I appreciate that lots of people have far more rigid lifestyles than me, with children, with work, with dealing with social situations. There may be sort of other things that you want to do. So she was really strict. In fact, actually, she said, right, so what will you do then? Well, I said, well, I'll go for the morning and the afternoon. And she said, well, I do every half hour. I went, oh, I don't think I could do that. So I think you have to find your place where, and I now do mornings, afternoons and evenings actually. And within those times, I have my schedules of things that I have to do, things that would be nice to do if I can get round to it, and ones that probably long term. And I always move those ones on, if I haven't done them, to the next page. And if they ever get past and I'm looking at, I've got 10 things, I go, right, it's a day where I have to sit down and do them. And I never let anything get past 10, which is probably too much for a lot of people, but I'm lucky in that, as I say, I can take a sort of say, oh, I'll take the Friday off and I'll get everything done, So it's working within the space that you have and the time that you have. And I do have to say, I've got a lot more done, because I could fritter a day away quite easily without actually really thinking. I think a lot of people can do that as well, and you've never quite got to what you need to do. And one of my clients had this problem really, really badly. So I made her text me every morning 3 things she was going to do. We did it for about 3 months. And then she forgot for a few days. And she said, oh, I'm sorry, I forgot. I said, but do you feel all right? And she says, oh yeah, I do actually. Because she'd got into a pattern. She didn't need to text me anymore. She'd got into a pattern and a routine of sorting out those things. And they were things like, oh, collect the laundry and make the kids pack lunch for tomorrow. They were simple things, but they were things that had got to her in the past. And she said, the weird thing is I have so much more time now.
Yeah, because you're planning it. I actually do that with my assistant, and she messages me every morning. It's what's she going to focus on for today. Those are the 3 top things that have to get done, and then anything extra is sort of a bonus. Yeah. And then it's made me actually go back and I tell her, okay, these are the things I'm working on, and it really helps me focus, because again, I can get overwhelmed with all the big things that have to get done, but actually, what can I do today, and how's that going to lead me to the bigger goal long term? But I can't do the big goal unless I take these little steps to get there.
Exactly. And you're quite right. It is good to have somebody to be able to backwards and forwards with that. If you have the opportunity and ability to have a friend, even a friend that you do it with together, something like that, because when we're accountable, it just makes us more proactive. It really does. There's no doubt about it. It's like, those slimming programs when they're on TV and they all lose loads of weight. It's because they're going to be on camera and they know they're going to be seen. That's a great impetus. That's great leverage, for someone to want
stay
to continue.
Motivated. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we talk about accountability partners, and actually within this membership, one of the things I want to encourage people to do is like, you've got other members here and everyone has a similar objective and has a like mind and wants to support. And so creating accountability just within our membership is fantastic. There's people that want to, you know, support one another.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. That sounds fantastic. Yeah.
So our session, should we do our little,
lovely,
the little treat? You've got a little treat for us, which is short and snappy, and I'm excited.
So we do the deep relaxation first of all, and we do it fairly rapidly because obviously we want to go as quickly as possible into getting it sorted so you can do it every day if you want to. So take a moment to make yourself comfortable. If you're sitting down, have your feet placed on the floor, the soles of your feet firmly placed on the floor. If you've got a chair, let your back relax into it. And when you're ready, you can close your eyes. And as soon as you close your eyes, just take your focus all the way down to your feet. So you're thinking about your feet resting on the floor. And I want you to imagine your feet just sinking down into it. So making you feel very stable, very balanced, very strong with that firmness of your soles of your feet, gently sinking down a little deeper. Let your bottom relax into the chair. You'll feel the seat beneath you as you sink into it, as you relax into it. And if you've got a back to your chair, just feel that your back resting on the back of the chair. Now let your shoulders drop down, allowing them to feel looser. That's right. Let them relax. And as they drop down, as you relax your shoulders, you're going to get that slight heaviness in your arms as the relaxation flows all the way down into your hands. Just feel your fingers and thumbs relaxing now. That's right. And let all the muscles in your face soften. Just relax and release the lower part of your jaw. Maybe have a tiny gap between your teeth. It's as though it lets the rest of the muscles in your face relax. And I want you to focus on that space between your eyes, from behind your eyes. That's right. Focus on the space between your eyes, behind your eyes. And as you do that, almost as though your eyes feel heavier, those eyelids feeling heavier now, that's right. Those eyelids almost as though they feel locked and stuck so hard, almost as though that part of your mind imagines they're superglued stuck. So as they're stuck so hard, so fast and so tight, that as you try to open them and you try to unstick them, that you'll feel the relaxation smoothing and soothing through the muscles in your forehead. And it's as though you imagine a window in the center of your forehead. You're going to open it and step inside your mind. And as you step inside, let that part of your mind go to that place, a specific thought or feeling, something that's stopping you or blocking you, something small. Start off with something manageable. Let yourself go down into that place where you access it. It might be a memory, or it might be a feeling, it might be a sensation, it might be something you visualize or something you hear. It might have the other senses with it, something that you can smell or even taste, whatever it might be. Allow that part of your mind to acknowledge it, recognize it, and for everything that it is. Almost as though you can begin to recognize all the ways that it has blocked you and stopped you or held you back or frustrated you. Or perhaps it's one of those things that it's really annoying habit, a little habit, something that actually would be so much more comfortable to be free of it. Now, as you do that, I want you just to go down a little bit deeper to make sure that you found this specific moment, perhaps when you can remember when it first started, or that moment where it has most significance. Just take a moment, allow your mind to go there very easily, very comfortably. And there's some space around so you can acknowledge it, recognize it, and realize all the ways that it's perhaps held you back or stopped you, all those frustrations, however small or insignificant they feel. It's as though that part of your mind is ready now to begin to find a different way. And you're going to imagine you're floating up out of yourself, up high, that's right, floating up above yourself and gently floating higher. And as you're floating up above yourself, higher now, that's right. And allow yourself to float higher and higher. And that old feeling, that old one now, as though somehow you have some distance from it. Keep floating up higher, that's right. Gently, comfortably, at your own pace. And as you float up higher and higher, and the distance you have, just as anything becomes distance, it changes. It makes it smaller or faded, like the colour begins to drain away, or gets quieter, even silent. And the feelings, the emotions, and even those ones that surround it or connected to it, whether it's people or whether it's a particular trigger or whether it's a particular time of day. It might be something like a feeling like tiredness or feeling cold, feeling miserable, or having one of those ones where, and when I mean miserable, I mean one of those ones you just go, that kind of miserable. So we keep it small and manageable, and still you're floating up higher. And it's as though now, somehow, all of those feelings, as they begin to fade away, as though they begin to dissolve. That's right. As though they're dissolving as the higher you float up, up, up. If you imagine all of those fading away, feelings, the colours drain away, the sound is silent, and it gets smaller and smaller. Keep going higher and higher until it's the size of a full stop. That's right. And if you need to continue going higher above, that's right. Just allow yourself to float up there all the way until it's the size of a full stop. Now, with this next breath, you go that little bit higher. That's right. You'll feel the sensation as you go that little bit higher, and the full stop vanishes. It's gone. And here is this inner support, nurturing, encouraging you, comfortable inside, where you begin to find the love and the self-worth, all the bits that give you that good enough feeling to be comfortable in your skin, to feel the confidence deep, deep within. That's right. Recognizing how they come to you, all these natural resources that support you, care for you, love you, that keep you safe, that encourage you in a way to begin to be the real you. They begin to free you, to liberate you. And it's as though just allowing the sensation to flow. You might find a little tingling in your fingers or your legs or your feet. A refreshing sensation that somehow now, as you imagine it, a colour that's so soothing, supporting and nurturing, that flows through your body from the place deep inside. It begins to flow into every part of you, all the way down your legs, into your feet, your toes, flowing down your arms and into your hands, your fingers and thumbs, filling your torso, spreading into your face. And it's abundant, it flows all around you. It seems to give you this refreshing sensation now, as gently drifting down. That's right, into this. You know, that's right, drifting all the way down. Floating inside you now, drifting all the way in. And inside now you feel the sensation as this powerful, comfortable, confident knowledge that now, tiny little shifts, small changes, giving you the support, the encouragement, and that confident knowledge now that you can feel more comfortable in your skin, more relaxed, more calm, and have that open knowledge, that deep understanding, connecting to the real you. And as you feel your feet firm and strong, you'll feel your fingers And you feel the sensation of this refreshing feeling coming all the way back now. And as you begin to feel refreshed, revitalized, as you begin to feel aware, coming all the way back, getting ready to open your eyes. That's right, opening your eyes now, getting ready to feel really wide awake, ready to open your eyes. That's right, opening your eyes now, wide awake, fully aware, all the way back here.
Wow. Whew, that was incredible.
That's something new I learned recently, and I love it. I love it.
And like, I knew I was here and I was very grounded in my body, but I very quickly was able to visualize myself coming out of my body. I'm not great at visualization. I've gotten a little bit better over time, but I really did feel like I was here, body was here, but mind was up here, or it was like the observer was up there.
Yes, yes.
And I went right to the place that, like there's something deep inside me that's there that is my story that I know is not true, that I'm not good enough. I don't know, I haven't figured out where it started, but I've been able to identify it, and I identified it a few years ago. Every once in a while, when you start a new business and you start to do something that's different path than I had done in a long time, you still every once in a while go back there and I'm like, oh, I'm not going to be able to do that, my fear. And
I think it's natural, actually. I think that's a really normal reaction, and it's having that space and that ability to be able to say, oh yeah, well this I'm pushing myself outside my comfort zone. That's okay to feel like this, but it's okay because I can get through it, because I know I have the ability to do that because I've done it before.
Yeah. And then that color was great because I had yellow, and yellow for me is positivity and warmth and sunshine. And it was sort of that, I can do it. Of course I can do it. This is going to be fine. You learn every step of the way, and it's just constantly moving forward. Oh, I feel great. I feel great. Thank you so much, Jennie.
Glad you enjoyed. Great.
So for people that want to find you and want to connect with you, what's the best way for them to get in touch with you?
Either email me, text me, probably better than ringing, because if you ring, I might be doing clients and what have you. And I don't always pick up the phone, because if I'm busy out and about, it's not appropriate when somebody might want to have a chat with you. So, but always get in contact with me, probably with email, text, and then we can arrange. And if you want to have a chat, by all means, we'll arrange a time, and then it's suitable. So
perfect.
Or and if you want to book a session through email or text, you can do that as well.
Yeah, and we'll put all your links onto the notes so people can connect. And obviously we've done that. You did that amazing live stream session for us, which is on our website, and the interview, which talks a lot about what hypnotherapy is, your background. So if people need to get a little bit more clarity, they can always tune into that as well. And your website is fantastic to give a little bit of insight. So we'll link all those notes for everyone.
Thank you. Lovely.
Jennie, it's always such a pleasure to talk to you. You have such wisdom, but also just such nice energy. And that session was perfect. It's really set me up for the things I need to do later on today. So thank you.
You're welcome. Lovely to speak to you too, Brett.
Thanks, Jennie. And for all of you tribe members out there, until next time, be here and be well.